everyone, and sorry I'm a little bit late here on our Wednesday edition of Cooking in the Kitchen with Aimee and Bristol, who's way over here. He's not sure he wants to sit around right now. I don't know. So anyway, I am excited to be here on Wednesday here in Toronto. It's a little bit cloudy. The temperature today is supposed to reach 14. It's a wee chilly still for me, and it's drizzling. With that said, we're gonna actually create in this little bit of mess, we're gonna create some goodness and some warmth on this kind of not so great day. It's a bit gray. It is fall. Actually, it's, hi Barb. It is fall, winter, let's be realistic. And so because of that, we're gonna make a hearty, delicious meal. And I do have to apologize, last week when I did that amazing risotto, squash risotto, for those of you who follow me on the VIP page. Hello, Carol, the sisters are here. I have not yet posted the recipe, my bad. It has been a loopy, crazy, amazing week, don't get me wrong, it's been a week. So 2-in-1 today, I will be posting the squash recipe that I did last week, so the squash risotto, which was amazing. And then today's recipe, let's not talk about the past as much as let's talk about the future, which is today's recipe, which is called creamy white chicken chili. So I made this recipe once already, and I'm tweaking things again. I know I always tweak a little bit of a recipe after I try it for the first time. I found it needed a little bit more broth, so instead of the 4 cups, instead of the 3 cups, we're gonna do 4, and I'm adding a little bit more chicken and just making it a little bit hearty. This is a really fast meal that you can add, even, you know, those of you who might have littles, those of you who might have people in your house that need to hide things. This is one of those recipes that you can add a little bit of extra goodness to it if you need to. This is also one of those recipes that if you want to hold off on the hot so much, you can do that as well, because we are going to be using jalapeno peppers, and we are going to be using some spicy chilies, but then we're even just using a simple green pepper. Okay, so again, you can hold off and back off on the heat or add a little more accordingly, but again, it's one of those one pot. I love chili, I hope you do too, and if I can find a new and different recipe for chili, I always do. The one that I posted before was Pampered Chef's recipe, and it was the everything pizza chili, which is crazy to think of, but it's the everything but pizza seasoning in your chili, and it's delicious. So this recipe is from Half Baked Harvest. I don't know if you follow Half Baked Harvest. She's on socials, so she's on Instagram. She's a huge, huge Instagrammer, and I will be tagging her in this post because she loves when you tag her in her photos. She is also an ambassador for Pampered Chef. She has used in the past so many of our products that she has become an ambassador for us. So she's doing a lot of socials for Pampered Chef as well, and magically, I started following her a while ago just because I love anybody that's got some delicious, hearty, home kind of stick to your ribs kind of recipes, and she's one of them. So if you do love a good recipe and somebody to follow, Half Baked Harvest, highly recommend, highly, highly recommend. Following the recipe for the time and then tweaking it. Thank you, Carol. My sister gets so mad at me when I do that. So I'm glad my other sisters, get it. So, and I actually did something smart today. I printed out the recipe and I have it on my computer so that I don't have to keep going back and forth, because I go, well, how much of X, Y, Z? One thing to note too, this recipe calls for cilantro. Ain't nobody got time for that in their recipe, as you know. So we're using curly parsley, which again is always my go-to for that. So I'm gonna move you guys over a tiny hair so that you can see the pot and you can see the cutting board and see what we're gonna use, because we're gonna be using a few other products that I don't always use, but I totally want to do it. So we're gonna start off with 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I am literally just gonna use just my regular one that my staple, which is the President's Choice. This one, for those of you who have the Epicure oil or our Pampered Chef oil with the garlic in it, this is another thing that you can do with that. But I'm just using the staple President's Choice extra virgin. The reason I love it is the sucker has the spout on it. I don't have to switch the spout out. Like, it magically is always on mine. It's just always on the bottle, and it's a great price point. It's nice flavor. Okay, so we're adding the extra virgin olive oil, and we're gonna add the onion. And so I am going to cut my onion, obviously, in my manual food processor. Okay, so my onion. And today I'm actually going to be using my groove cutting board, which I normally talk about my flexible cutting mats, but I'm going to talk about the groove cutting board. I love the fact that it's two-sided. So the one side has the lip all the way around, so if you do have, you know, meats or anything that might have a little extra juice on there, it's going to catch it because it's got the ridge there. And the other side also has the grooves on the side, so the measuring as well for that. But two-sided, dishwasher safe. And just a note, guys, you can see there the kind of discoloration on there because I cut a lot of fruits and vegetables, so any peppers, anything like that is could discolor something white like this. If you put that in the sun for about 3 or 4 hours, the sun will naturally take away your discoloration on your cutting board. Just a little FYI in case you needed that. Okay, so I am using a Vidalia onion. It calls for any onion that you want. I do have some cooking onions that came in my veggie box this week. I know some of the sisters, you might have got your onions as well. Those suckers were strong. I just used it in my risotto this week and I was crying. Delicious, so full of flavor. I love our veggies this time of year. All of our fall vegetables here in Ontario, they are so amazing right now with flavor. Even the onions, again, a good onion that might make you cry is delicious in a recipe. How about I don't use the onion paper? So again, I'm just using a sweet onion. I'm gonna chop that up in my manual food processor. Those of you who have this product know the love of this product, but look at how fast that it was for me to chop it. These two pieces, the bowl and the blades, which FYI are really, really sharp, are all dishwasher safe. The lid itself is not dishwasher safe, but you just simply rinse it off and it's great. And if you do have, again, those littles in the kitchen, grandkids, nieces, nephews, kids of your own, that's a great product. This, being the manual food processor, is a great product to have the littles help you to chop it up and no one's hands are hurt in the making of that. So we've just got the onion going on here with the extra virgin olive oil, and periodically through this recipe I will be showing you what's going on in the pot because this is a beautifully fragrant and an amazing recipe to show the beautiness of it as everything comes together. For those of you who love food, and clearly I like food, I love a good, beautiful looking dish as well. Okay, so while that is going on, we're gonna add the garlic and we're gonna get the peppers ready. So it called for a poblano pepper, which I had no idea what a poblano pepper was. I actually had to use the Google the first time I did it. And it is actually a Mexican chili pepper that isn't too spicy. So they're very, very hard to find. And what I did with the last recipe is I used a yellow pepper, and they're hot, but I de-seeded, if that's how you say it, unseeded, took the seeds out, how about that? So I'm going to do the same thing for this. Now, when it comes to the jalapeno that I'm going to add, I'm going to leave the peppers in for the jalapeno. We like spice at our house for sure. My dad, looks like my dad, oh yeah, my dad is watching. Hi Dad, Larry Vizaire, that's my dad. My dad loves heat. My dad is the king of chili. We call it Papa's Famous Chili at our house. But his dish, he tends to make it a little hotter with Kiara and my mom, he has to actually back the heat down a little bit. So same thing at our house here. We just back it up by taking the seeds out. So you're still gonna get that beautiful flavor, but you're not gonna get the heat that you need to do. Then you can add heat to your bowl if you want to. So I need how many of these peppers? I cannot remember. 2 of these, and then we're gonna chop them up. So again, while the onions are going, I can do that in the manual food processor. I don't have to bother with cleaning the manual food processor because obviously we just have the onions in it. So I'm just taking the seeds right out of this. Now, I will use my scoop and loop, which I've talked about this little bugger, which does look like a melted snowman. So for those of us who do love to bake, cookie season is coming. You might want to use your scoop and loop to make some little melted snowmen. It's a cute little project to do. So I'm just going to take the seeds out of this pepper, and then I'm going to chop it up again in our manual food processor. Don't have to worry about cleaning that. The onions are going along here. And I'm going to chop up our pepper, tossing that into the manual food processor, and chop away. Let me move this off pepper. Here we go. Another amazing feature about this sucker is that it's got the non-slip grip on the bottom. So as you guys can see, I'm just hammering away, and I do not need to worry about this sucker moving at all. Okay? So I'm going to put my pepper right into my bowl. So I am using today, again, the cast iron Dutch oven. If you do not have a cast iron Dutch oven, that's okay. Use whatever pot is your favorite for chili. I just love the fact that my cast iron lid, let me just show you, has the little divots on the lid, and because of that, it's circulating itself. I did talk about that last week when I made the risotto, you know, the risotto recipe that I have not posted yet on my VIP page. If you are not following me on my VIP page, come on over. We love to share recipes with one another. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we're gonna we've added the peppers, and I'm gonna stir in the garlic. Now I need 2 cloves of garlic, which at my house means 4. I love garlic. Oh, I did take one out. I love garlic, so I always double the garlic for the recipes. So, got my garlic press. Those of you who do know how much I love my garlic press because I do not need to peel my garlic. What is my friend Karen saying? Oh, chili, yummy, this is delicious. Oh, amazing. So Karen made chili last night as well. My friend Karen, you met her last week on the live. Karen was here from Calgary. She actually lives in Sherwood Park and Calgary, I should say. And so she's gone back home. She sent me a message yesterday. We were FaceTiming. She was making beautiful, delicious bread, which I'm going to make her share on our VIP page because it was gorgeous. It looked delicious. That's when I wished I had smell vision. And she made a big pot of chili as well. I mean, like I said, right? Who doesn't love chili? I would love all of us to even share our favorite chili recipes. I find you can never get enough chili. Like I said, my dad's on here, and my dad's Papa's Famous Chili. So this is of those of you who might have just popped on, we're making creamy white chicken chili, so a completely different recipe than you're probably used to with the yellow tomatoes. This is a deliciously beautiful recipe thanks to Half Baked Harvest, whom I love, I follow. And she actually just has a cookbook coming out that I wouldn't be upset about if somebody bought for me for Christmas. So I will be hinting to my children that that's what I want. Okay, so we are now adding 2 teaspoons of ground cumin and the paprika and the chili powder to the onions, garlics, and oil. So I, for some reason, as the Pampered Chef consultant, cannot find in my drawer, which 2 sets I have of the measuring spoons. Oh, there is the teaspoon. I was saying I can't find my teaspoons, but I did find it now. Okay, so I need 2 teaspoons of cumin, which I'm just adding here to the bottom. I have to tell you already, this is smelling amazing. These sweet peppers are amazing. I don't know where my lid is. Okay, and then I need 1 teaspoon of the smoked paprika. Okay. 1 teaspoon of the smoked paprika. And I need 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. Now again, if you want to add the heat, add a teaspoon. I am adding an entire teaspoon to mine. When I did the recipe the first time, even with these peppers, I found that I just wanted a little bit of extra there. So I added a teaspoon of the chili, okay? All right. And now I'm adding 4 cups of broth. And there we go, okay? So I will tell you that the first time I made this, like I said, I found it needed just a tiny bit of broth, and it says it on the bottom of this recipe from Half Baked Harvest that if you do find you need to add more broth, because according to the thickness, to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to show you where I'm going to tweak it a little bit. So we're going to add some salt and pepper. Okay, a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, and then I'm going to just let that sit for a little minute. And partially, okay. So this is where in this step, I'm going to just quickly show you what's happening in the pot. Move the salt and pepper. Quickly show you here in the pot. And this is where they want you to add the chicken. Okay, so that's what's happening right there in our pot. Okay, you can see the beautiness of it. Gorgeous looking chili. So again, they want us to add the raw chicken here. Now, listen, we don't have time here in our magical kitchen for me to cook the chicken here and let it sit for 20 minutes. So obviously the first time I did, put my lid on because of the bumps. It's like a convection oven right here on my stovetop. Well, here in the magic of the kitchen, over here on in my quick cooker, I have pre-cooked my chicken because I wanted this to be done so we could together see the beautiness of it. So you're going to pretend that I put the raw chicken in, okay? So this is where I am taking my chicken that I cooked about 20 minutes ago, and I just cooked it in some chicken broth as well so that the seasonings would not be any different. Okay, and this is where I'm going to add the extra broth. Okay, so the chicken broth that I cooked in here, I'm just going to add it to the pot now. Again, the first time I made it, I found it just needed a little bit more, and I'm going to do that. Now, the recipe says to cook it for 20 minutes or until the chicken is done. Now, obviously, I'm not getting the same seasonings because the chicken isn't cooking in all of this amazing smelling between the paprika, the chilies, all of that. So the more and longer this one simmers, the better, obviously. So I'm going to give it a minute, and I've actually got some leftover chicken that I cooked last night. I want to get rid of that chicken, not get rid of it, but you know, I want to spread the love here. So I only cooked 3 chicken breasts. It asks you in the recipe, you can either do a pound of boneless, skinless chicken or chicken thighs, depending on what your taste is. And again, because I was knowing I was going to be using the leftover chicken, I only used 3 boneless, skinless chicken pieces, and going to do the extension of the recipe with the leftover chicken that I had because I've got it. Spread the love, okay? So I'm just quickly rinsing off my board, and then we can start over because the next step is to actually pull the chicken out and to shred it. So what they're suggesting is taking the chicken and pulling it apart. So you're essentially doing shredded chicken. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. We're gonna go on to the next step. We're gonna do our cheese and get all of that ready. We're gonna pull the chicken out just so it gets a little bit of goodness in here, and then we're gonna add the last of it. I put chickpeas in mine. Karen, amazing idea, Carol. Here's a recipe for a good vegetarian. Thank you, Carol, for sharing your chili recipe. Listen, guys, pop all of that over onto the VIPs because, again, who doesn't love a good chili recipe? I know I do. Okay, so this recipe is calling for cheese in our chili. So obviously it's a fan favorite of mine if it has cheese. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to warm in the microwave 3 ounces of cream cheese. So it says at room temperature. So I've had my cream cheese out for a little bit. This recipe, or this block of cream cheese, I had already used this week. I need, what did I just say? 3 ounces. So let me make sure. So I am using our Pampered digital scale. Love a digital scale. It is already on the ounces. I am now going to put the container on, clear it, and now I'm gonna get 3 ounces, and then I'm gonna warm it in the microwave. It's saying for about 10 or 15 seconds, just to give it that warmth, okay? So there we go. Oh, that's on pounds. Hang on. Hold, please. Grams, ounces, pounds, grams. Clear. Okay. I'm gonna add that to the microwave. I was lucky that I got that. It was actually, it's 4, so it's fine. I'm gonna put that in the microwave, and I'm gonna warm it. Oh, I think I touched my nose after I touched a pepper seed. Woo. Okay, love me a good digital scale. Easy recipe like this. I could just simply do it. Anybody who bakes knows that it's always a plus to have that. Okay, so we have melted the cheese in the microwave, pulled the chicken out and shredded it, and then we're gonna smooth in the, okay, so we're gonna shred the cheese as well. So we need some cheddar cheese as well. So we need 3/4 of a cup, which at my house means 1 cup, because I do love a good cheese. So I am gonna do 1 cup of cheese, shredded cheese. I'm just gonna use our new grater. I should have the safety on it, especially any of you who know how well I shred my knuckles. And I am just using an old cheddar cheese. I just buy mine at Costco because we do love cheese here so much that this way we don't run out. Please don't buy pre-shredded cheese. There's so much junk in a pre-shredded cheese. Buy yourself a good grater. It is an investment that you will not be disappointed in, and there is a safety that comes with ours that goes over top. In fact, I'll show you, because near the end I always get nervous and I'm going to shred my fingers. I'm going to throw in these big chunkies that I've got of the cheese, and I just shred it along. It is so easy to do, and what's great about this is it's dishwasher safe. Stainless steel blade, will not rust. It's incredible, guys. So much better than having that shredded cheese that you buy at the grocery store that's full of crap. Please don't do it. Okay, so we've got our bowl here, We have our pot here going along. I'm gonna pull the chicken out now, and I'm gonna just pre-shred it, okay? And I've got chunks of the chicken here from a couple nights ago, and I think what I'll do is I'll cut that up as well. I normally talk about our knives. This is the knife that I normally don't talk about. It's our regular 5-inch blade. It's not the Santuco. You can see it's a regular utility knife, incredible, just as amazing. It's just not one of those ones I tend to grab because I grab our Santoku one so often that I tend to just talk about that one, which isn't very nice of me because all of our knives are lifetime guarantee. They are so easy to use, dishwasher safe, professional grade, because the blade goes all the way to the end, and you can see there, if you have anybody in your life, especially over the holiday season, who might be carving and might be needing a good set of knives, have them hook them up with me. I will help them absolutely. So I just chopped up the last of the leftover chicken that we had, and now I'm just going to shred the chicken that I cooked here. And I am, instead of using 2 forks like it's suggested, I'm actually going to use our shredders, which again is another product I don't talk enough about because I forget to actually talk about them when I use them. Kind of like the digital scale. I use it all the time and I forget to talk about it. So what I love about our shredders is it's got the thicker side that I can show you there. The knife can go in between. If you were cutting, say, like a steak or you were cutting a roast, it can go in between and act like a fork, or it just acts as a shredder. And again, this is something I normally would just do right in the pot, but I wanted to show you guys how incredible it is to use this and shred your chicken so easily in there. So I'm going to continue to do it. I find it's easier in the pot. It makes less of a mess. Shredded chicken, shredded pork, and again, so many uses for them. The best part, they magnetize together, and that way you always know where they are at all times. This recipe already easily coming together. It smells divine in the kitchen. Really, really simple to do. Simple recipe. The only thing you might have a hard time or that you might not have in your house at all time are the peppers, just because you wouldn't necessarily maybe use this many hot peppers at one time. And the only other thing is maybe depending whether you use a regular or a green salsa, because this recipe we're going to use a green salsa. But again, other than that, I'm sure this is one of those recipes that you've got all of the products on hand for you. So the chicken is beautifully shredded, done in seconds, thanks to my tools here, magnetizes together, and I can even put them in the dishwasher that way. Okay, so we've got the chicken going there, and we've got our cream cheese that will come out of the microwave now. I'm gonna add the cream cheese. So pull the chicken out and shred it, stir in the cream cheese. There we go. Gonna stir in the cream cheese. And then we're gonna add in the shredded cheese. Okay. So these are our Easy Read measuring cups. Just an FYI, these suckers are on sale right now, 25% off. They make great Christmas gifts because as you are holding it this way, I am reading, so as I'm pouring or measuring, I can actually see versus, hang on, what does that say? So Easy Read, amazing, 25% off. It's on the pre-Black Friday deal. Okay, so I've got the cream cheese in here. I have the cheddar cheese in here. I'm going to add the salsa verde, and I'm going to cook that until everything is melted. Now, I am using, again, a President's Choice salsa verde. It's delicious, but I also do always carry the Mexican green salsa. Both of them are nice. This one just happened to be on sale, and so I thought I would try it. We'll try that one. I love to try new salsas. And I need a half of a cup of that. This is a great one for me to use my measure all cup because I can just put it right in there, not worrying about my hands. Woo, almost the whole jar. And I'm just pushing that right in there. So I've got the green salsa going on in there. The cheese is going on there. I need to add my white beans. So I will be using my can opener, which I adore. So just an FYI, this recipe, it has a little bit of green salsa left in the jar, so I'm just gonna toss that in there because there wasn't enough to save. So it might have, instead of half a cup, it might have 3/4 of a cup, and that's okay with that. I'm gonna show you guys in a second, but I do wanna open the white beans. What I absolutely love about our can opener, another thing, obviously the fact that I don't have to worry about it undoing itself. And once it is open, you can feel that. I turn it backwards and it comes off. It has a little doodad on the side, which is our little teeth. Look, sisters, we just take that lid off. Easy peasy. I will drain the beans, rinsing them off. Sorry, I should have had my strainer out. I will just use my strainer that can go right across my sink. Just gonna rinse off those beans. Just a quick rinse of our white beans. So it's just 1 can of white beans. Gonna add that to the chili. The smell in here is absolutely incredible. Okay, that's not too annoying. Okay, so I've added the salsa, I've added the white beans, I've added the cheddar cheese. The next portion is to add a jalapeno if desired. So this is the point of the recipe, that if you want to add a jalapeno, you can. Again, it's completely up to you. I am going to add a jalapeno. I will be keeping the seeds in mind because we do like heat at our house. So I'm just gonna cut the top off. I'm just gonna cut mine into 6/4. I'm gonna add it to my manual food processor once again. And I'm gonna chop it up. Do you see that, guys? Ann just had her can opener for 20 years. The same damn can opener. That's how insane the blade is. I will give a little shout out as well. A lot of people on here today are fellow Guildians, so fellow people here in Guildwood. Angela has a son who's in construction. If anybody needs construction help, he's your guy. Not only is he amazing at what he does, but he sure does know other amazing people, and I have a barbecue that I've needed to be hooked up. And her son, Mike, knows a guy who he works with, and he's coming by today to hook up my barbecue. And can I tell you that Dave is so excited to be able to have a barbecued hot dogs soon in his future. This is the man who gets white bean chicken chili, chicken risotto this week, scallop potatoes, cinnamon buns, like all the stuff that we have had here in the last week, that just the heartiness. The man wants a barbecue hot dog. So don't be surprised if I do a video about barbecue hot dogs, just to show you how amazing and easy it is to make him happy. So we've got everything in here. We're gonna cook this for another 5 to 10 minutes. We remove it from the heat. So that's all it takes, okay? So everything is cooked. The longer it sits, like anything else, chilies, sauces, soups, the longer it sits, the better it gets. So again, it's 20 minutes to 2. We're gonna have this for dinner. Therefore, the longer it sits, the better it is. I just find the peppers kind of give it that flavor. I am turning this down to a low heat. I will be putting the lid on mine because, again, my cast iron Dutch oven then works as its own little convection oven and circulating all the way through. When it comes off and we ladle it out, that's when you can add some fresh lime. That's when you can add a avocado. It is when you will top it with even a Greek yogurt. So again, this recipe says, ladle the chili into the bowl, add it with sour cream or Greek yogurt, some more cheese, avocado, cilantro, curly parsley, and you make yours your own. So guys, this is what is for dinner at my house. White creamy chicken chili. I will be posting the recipe. Like I said, in my bad self, I did not post last week's recipe on our VIP page. I apologize. We're not living in the past, so I own it. I'm gonna post it today, and I'm gonna post this one. I wanna show you guys how amazing this pot looks. I wish you could have smell vision. Look at how gorgeous that chili is right now. And the longer it sits, the better. So this afternoon, will have this warm, delicious fragrance going on in my kitchen. And all Dave's dreaming about is a hot dog. So I hope you have a beautiful Wednesday. I hope you enjoy this recipe as much as I do. Again, if you are not following me on my VIP page, it's Aim's VIPeeps. Go ahead on over there. Please share with each other recipes. Karen, post your bread there. I know Carol's already posted chili recipe, which I'm going to copy and paste and throw it over there. And if you're not following Half Baked Harvest, she is a huge Pampered chef lover and an amazing, amazing chef. I love her recipes. In fact, one of her recipes was even featured in our Taste Buds box once. It's incredible. So I'm so glad you're all here. I appreciate you. It's what's for dinner tonight. White, creamy chili chicken. Have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you all soon.